Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man sara ala sabilihi ila yawmiddin, amma ba'd. So in continuing discussing concerning this topic that is titled Tarikh al-Fiqh, the history of the development of fiqh, and also it is referred to at times regarding al-madkhal ila ilm al-fiqh, and also an introduction to the science of fiqh or the development of fiqh. So we've been discussing concerning that concerning al-fiqh, that it went through different stages regarding its development. We discussed concerning the first stage regarding that of the Prophet ﷺ, regarding the era or the time of the Prophet ﷺ as being the asas, as being the foundation regarding the establishment of fiqh. And that era also referred to as at-tashri'i, which is concerning that those were things were established regarding the Sharia by way of the main sources of the Sharia, and also details regarding how to apply the Sharia regarding matter that relates to ibadat, matter that relates to ibadat by way of as-salat, what matters regarding as-siyam and the likes. Then also tashri'i also matters regarding concerning mu'amalat. So all of these things were somewhat covered during that time by way of the main foundations were established during that time of the Prophet ﷺ. Then and that lasted for 23 years. Also during that time, the main source of the tashri'ah was the Quran, and also the Quran and the Sunnah. So the main source was then the Quran and the Sunnah, and we discussed concerning other matters that that relates to that topic. Then also we discussed concerning that next stage was regarding concerning extension of the time of the Prophet ﷺ, which is the time of the Sahaba. So the Sahaba also that they played a very important role regarding the development of al-fiqh. So we discussed concerning that time. It started at after the death of the Prophet ﷺ and continued until the 40th year of the Hijrah. So until the 40th year of the Hijrah, this is the time of the Sahaba, mainly regarding the involvement and contribution of the Khulafa al-Rashid. So the Khulafa al-Rashida regarding concerning the time of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali upon the death of his son Hassan. So up until the time of Hassan leadership, then we mentioned that during that time regarding concerning that of those matters, that also the Sahaba that dealt with various things regarding concerning that they still held to the fundamentals regarding concerning matters regarding at-tashri'ah, regarding concerning legislation that was completed with the Prophet ﷺ. And as for their role was was to clarify some of those matters in more details. So regarding concerning matters that relates to relates to as-salat and all those matters, they would just clarify what was already established. They would just clarify what was established or what they learned from the Prophet ﷺ. They would just clarify those things to others. Then also at that time, that emphasis was placed on the Sahaba regarding collecting the Quran. So a lot of emphasis was placed regarding making the Quran into a form of a book that was completed in the time of Uthman ibn Affan anhu, but started in the time of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. But also the Quran existed as a form of a written form even during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, but then it was made eventually into a book, a single book during the time of Uthman ibn Affan anhu. Then also we can mention that also during that time that the companions also to rely regarding concerning matters regarding Islam, that the main source of reference would be the Quran. Second would be also the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, where also the Sahaba that they would also start then to again teach of the Sunnah to others, teach of the Sunnah to others. They were mentioned regarding the time of Sahaba, then the time of Umar or Abu Bakr, the time of Abu Bakr, then Umar, that most of the companions that they were still within Mecca and Medina. So many of the Quran, the Sahaba, they were still in Medina, the vast majority. Then after the time of Uthman, then they start to, and also in time of Umar, they still remain, majority of them were still in Medina. Then in time of Uthman ibn Affan, that the Sahaba, as the Islamic empire start to extend and the Muslim states start to expand, that also and other cities start to be developed, that also some companions were given permission for them to travel away. So so we find places like in Medina, in Mecca, in Sham, and other places where certain madar or certain companions that they became the one to be the teachers in those regions. So we'll cover concerning some of those Sahabas who were placed in those regions. Then then also in the time of the Sahaba, then they start to deal with concerning matters concerning ijtihad, that regard matter that was not clearly mentioned in the Quran or in the Sunnah, then also they will use those as a source regarding how to come to how to come to some type of judgment on matters that were not clearly mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah. Those things were not much, but they delved, or they did discuss some of those matters. Also concerning al-khilaf, regarding concerning differences among the Sahaba, was not plenty, but it did exist. So you find certain differences that initially they had between themselves, but then when the evidence was provided, and then everyone would fall in line with the evidence. Everyone accept the evidence and go along with this. Then also you'll find certain cases of differences where the companions had a difference on those on certain matters, but there was no that difference still existed. That difference is still carried on, as each group has some form of dalil that they acted upon, and there was no clear, explicit text. So each will still take that view. So those differences did exist in certain masail of ijtihadiyah. So that's concerning a brief reference. Then we'll now go to the next stage regarding concerning al-fiqh al-islamiyah. So which discover that we concern the era of the tabi'in. So al-fiqh fi asr al-fiqh or al-fiqh fi asr al-tabi'in. So al-fiqh fi al-asr al-tabi'in. So discussing concerning the fiqh in the time of the tabi'in, rata'ala anhum. So what is concerning that matter, that first concern the tabi'in are those who are said to be of the tabi'in, that this time period of the tabi'in that will be discussed, that it started from the 41st year of the hijrah, from the time of the khilafah of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, and that it ended by the start of the al-qarn al-thani, by the second year of the by the start of the second year of the hijrah. So it ended by the start of the beginning of the second year of the hijrah. So during that time, you find that the Islamic State was established, of the Umayyin was somewhat established. Then also regarding concern that matter is that the Tabi'in, that they are said to be the ones who met the Sahaba and studied with them. So the Tabi'in would be considered those who actually studied from the Sahaba. They are said to be the Tabi'in, and those are the ones that we are mainly discussing in this particular book. So those among the Tabi'in, who the ones who sat and studied alongside or studied from the Sahaba, they are the ones that are mainly being discussed regarding concerning al-fiqh, and the fuqaha amongst them. So what that inshallah ta'ala that they mention regarding concerning of those things that with the tabi'in that they face regarding of those milestones that they had to, or landmark that they dealt with during their time, and those things that they're distinguishing markers regarding that period, that as a asl, that with that time concerning that certain things developed regarding that time, or certain things that start to develop regarding tadween of fiqh. So regarding concerning that the fiqh start now to be developed, that occurred during that time. So of that matter, it discussed concerning and that the development went through different stages until it reached up until the time of the A'imma, and the madhahib became established. So initially, regarding concerning the tabi'in, that of those things that they had to deal with, and those things that they had to, those guiding posts during their time, that they had to dealt with or arise during their time, one, ittisa al-ijtihad. So of those things that you find concerned that ijtihad or ikhtilaf became more. So regarding concern, you find that more ikhtilaf, more difference among the tabi'in was present, and that requires concerning ijtihad, ijtihad. So you find also that more regarding ijtihad was being made by the tabi'in because of, and also with this concerning that, you find that more differences arise amongst them. Also regarding that time, so you find that the reason of those ijtihad and differences increase during the time of the tabi'in, that you find that one concern that al-waqa'ah, regarding concerning different matters that they had to face, increase. So as the Muslim community start to grow, and things regarding their day-to-day life, that they had to they wanted solutions or answers to those things from Islamic perspective. So the tabi'in would give those answers, and also you find concerning that so those of those things, and also the marakis that they start to increase regarding concerning that the Muslim empire start to spread. Also regarding that, what came from this regarding that, more places of ilm start to be established. So more places of ilm start to be established, And also you find that concerning that the places, because of their distances, so also the communication was less. So you find that so less communication between those cities regarding all agreeing on a matter. So you find that each city will take, based upon the ulama of that city, will take certain stands based upon their level of knowledge. Also of those things, of those second matters regarding concerning تميز هذه العصر بظهور الاستدلال بالأقوال الصحابة. Also during this time that we find concerning that the tabi'in also starting to refer back to the aqwal of the Sahaba. So the source of reference on a matter, if they did not find anything in the Quran or in the Sunnah, then the tabi'in also they will use regarding concerning the fatawa and the aqwal of the Sahaba. So they saw the aqwal of the Sahaba as having a status and a place. So by this, they'll refer back to the Sahaba regarding matters. And the Sahaba, that their fatawa had a place and an importance, because they were the ones, the Sahaba, that they were the ones concerned the Quran and the Sunnah was revealed amongst them. So the Quran and the Sunnah was revealed around the Sahaba. Also you have that events and situation that they were personally involved in, that the Quran and the Sunnah came to clarify. So they can somewhat say that personal touch regarding that matters regarding concern the Quran and the Sunnah, that they were aware of regarding many of these matters. So they became very so the tabi'in, you refer back to them regarding, because of their in-depth understanding of these texts and these matters. So they refer back to them their fatwa regarding certain matters as a source of in regarding their fiqh approach. So you find concerning Ala'i, rahimahullah, who died 761, that he state, of what he stated, he mentioned regarding concerning this matter, mentioned, وَمَنْ أَنْأَمْ النَّظَرْ فِي كُتُبِ الْآثَارِ, that if one was to look in depth into the books of the Athar, وَجْدَ التَّابِعِينَ لا يختلفون في رجوع إلى أقوال الصحابة, that the tabi'in, that they did not disagree amongst themselves in going back to the aqwal of Sahaba when there was any difference amongst themselves. So if there's a difference that arises amongst the tabi'in, that they refer back to the aqwal of the Sahaba, فيما ليس فيه كتاب ولا سنة ولا إجماع, in case that there was no clear matter regarding from the Quran or from the Sunnah or from the Ijma. So it showed that as the tabi'in, that they gave this type of respect and also place regarding concerning the statement of the Sahaba in status, to the extent that they refer back to their aqwal on matter that was not clearly mentioned in the Quran, or matter that they could find answers in the Sunnah, or a matter that was that there was an agreement on that matter. So that's concerning that matter. Another of those things that arise during the time of the tabi'in was also the matter regarding dealing concerning dhuhur al-wad fil hadith. So regarding concerning the matter regarding that, the increase or the level, the extent of the people fabricating of hadith. So the fabrication of hadith also became more apparent, or started during that time, became apparent, and that also need to be dealt with. And that was because concerning matters regarding hadith start to become more widespread regarding concerning narration of hadith and the matter that relates to ilm al-hadith. So also you find with the teaching of hadith also an emphasis placed upon hadith, that you find that people starting to fabricate hadith. So they have to deal with those situations. Also regarding concerning that another of those things that became that was noted during the time of the tabi'in regarding fiqh al-buldan, what referred to as fiqh al-buldan. We find that that you have in different cities in Medina that the ulama and their approach regarding concerning al-Mecca or al-Kufa or Sham. So these are different places that they had ulama from among the Sahaba, and then also the tabi'in, who became the one who started to teach in these areas and start to establish that the fiqh of that balad, start to teach concerning that fiqh of that particular region. So this become widespread regarding more madaris start to be established. So with this it leads concerning that the next matter regarding madaris al-Islamiyya al-Fiqhiyya, that regarding concerning that madaris al-Fiqhiyya al-Islamiyya then start to be established. So places of learning start to be established, start to be slowly to be established based upon that the fiqh in the different region became more established. So different madaris start then to be established, and some at certain so these start to be established in various regions. So that's concerned that matter regarding of those things that somewhat one to take into note regarding concerning what occurred during the time of the Tabi'een. Then also of the matter regarding the time of the Tabi'een, that also you find that in the time of the Sahaba, that that they place emphasis regarding the Quran. So regarding concern that in the time of the Sahaba, regarding that in the Quran, regarding preserving the Quran, so it was recorded. So the process of gathering the Quran and also recording the Quran and then making copies of the Quran. So that was the emphasis was then. Less so, but even though some of the Sahaba had matters where they have written, so some of the Sahabas may have written certain hadiths, but it wasn't something which was a widespread practice, wasn't a widespread practice regarding collecting or recording of the Sunnah or Hadith. But in the time of the Tabi'een, then also you find that emphasis start to be placed regarding the recording of the Sunnah. So documentation or recording or gathering of the Sunnah. Then in the time of the Tabi'een, then also you find that it started, more emphasis started to be placed on this matter. Then so you find concern, so emphasis was placed regarding the Sunnah or Hadith, regarding concerning that recording of the Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So you find a certain companions that start to have their own little collection, private collection, that was held by some of the Sahaba. So with this concern, the matter regarding, so you find that more emphasis regarding Tadween or Sunnah during the time of the Sahaba. But also second regarding concerning, so that also that you find that with Tadween of the Sunnah, then you find also that with the Sunnah, that you find that also some of those things that are related to Sunnah that relates to Fiqh. So also find that of those things that were being gathered regarding the Sunnah, a lot of this also related to matters that were related to al-Fiqh. So you mentioned that now some of the Tabi'een, that they also start to have their own little collections. So the Tabi'een, that so you mentioned, it stated that Mahkul al-Shahmi, so Makhul al-Shami, that who died the year 113 al-Hijri, that is stated that he had his own collection, but about concerning manasik. So regarding concerning now Tadween al-Fiqh, that also that process now started where they mentioned that Makhul al-Shami, that it is stated that he had a book regarding manasik, which is a hadith. They mentioned a hadith wal athar that relates to matters concerning al-Hajj, so we call al-manasik. So but that was so that started the process regarding that matter. As for concerning the Tabi'een, that as for them concerning that fiqh, that concerning as sources of fiqh. So again, they continue concerning emphasizing regarding as a reference that fiqh is taken from the Quran and from the Sunnah, and also from the Ijma, and also they will use concerning the aqwal of the Sahaba and the fatawi of the Sahaba. So also that they would start then to use as a reference added to what was established during the time of the Sahaba. Then the Tabi'een also would include of the aqwal of the Sahaba regarding giving some clarity on matters that the Sahaba had spoken about. So regarding concerning that the gathering of hadith, memorizing of hadith, and also teaching of hadith became more spread. And as we mentioned regarding concerning during that time, then also concerning ijtihad and matters also start to increase as the Islamic State started to increase. So regarding concerning the need for this looking at matter in more detail because of the state, the Islamic state increasing, so the Tabi'een also start to discuss concerning things that were not also mentioned by the Tabi'een, by the Sahaba. So with this, you find that they mention that madaris start then to be established. So certain madaris start to be established. So of those madaris that now start to be mentioned at Takwin madaris al-Fiqhiyya. So amongst the Tabi'een, then now the establishment of certain madaris, certain schools, now start to be established in those different regions. And mention that this was started with the Sahaba in those different areas that were mentioned before. So you find concern that in certain regions that you find that these schools, so of those schools that start to be established, they mentioned the school concerning al-Madrasa al-Madina or Madrasa al-Madaniya. So you had the al-Madrasa al-Madaniya, which is Medina. So Madrasa al-Medina. And we had mentioned previously regarding concerning Madrasa, regarding concerning that those that Madrasa, that it started then of those people that became of his main pupil of that Madrasa of Medina. We have the likes of, they mentioned in Medina, that what became known, that they were first concerning each matter concerning al-fiqh, that the main source of reference regarding, they mentioned fuqaha as-sab'a. So what became known as, or those who became known as al-fuqaha as-sab'a, so the fuqaha as-sab'a became the famous amongst the students of, or the ulama of Medina. So they mentioned regarding Sa'id, of those seven, they refer to as al-fuqaha as-sab'a, the seven fuqaha. They are established in Medina, and they're the ones who were kind of carrying concerning the mantle of the Sahaba of that region of Medina. Amongst those seven, they are Sa'id ibn Musayyib, who died Hijri 94 Al-Hijri, 94 Hijri, Sa'id ibn Musayyib. Second, Urwa ibn Zubair, who died also the same year, 94 Al-Hijri. Third, Abu Bakr ibn Abdurrahman ibn Harith ibn Hisham al-Makhzumi. So again, Abu Bakr ibn Abdurrahman ibn al-Harith ibn Hisham al-Makhzumi, and he died also the same year as we mentioned before, the year 94 al-Hijri. The fourth of those seven, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud, and he died 98 al-Hijri, So again, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud, who died, as we mentioned, the year 98 al-Hijri. Fifth of those Sab'a, Kharija ibn Zayd ibn Thabit. Kharija ibn Zayd ibn Thabit. The sixth, Al-Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. Al-Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. And the last and the seventh, Sulaiman ibn Yasar. So Al-Kharija, that he died 99 al-Hijri, Kharija ibn Zayd ibn Thabit. Al-Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, he died 107 al-Hijri. And Sulaiman ibn Yasar, he died also 107 al-Hijri. So those are referred to as the Fuqaha as-Sab'a of Medina. So they were the ones who carried the mantle. They became the students of the Sahaba of that region, and they were the ones concerned of the main Fuqaha of the Sahaba of Al-Medina. That madrasa regarding Al-Medina, that it was known regarding concerning, that emphasis was placed regarding concerning that madrasa regarding hadith. So regarding concerning that hadith studies, then that became of so less per se regarding concerning matter that relates to al-rahi, of using of opinions, and also discussing concerning matters regarding possibilities, or I said assuming assumptions regarding certain matters of fiqh. Thinking, for example, if this was to occur, then this is the answer. They did not delve into those things, as that madrasa was upon the that madrasa was more so hadith based, regarding hadith wal athar, regarding concerning they go back to Quran and Sunnah heavily, and also they go back to the aqwal of the Sahaba, because there were many in that region. The second of those madrasa, that madrasa became known, as I said, the madrasa of Ahl al-Hadith. That madrasa became known as Madrasa Ahl al-Hadith. But that madrasa is in Medina. So that madrasa of Ahl al-Hadith, of those people that ever in that were from the Sahaba, you have Abdullah bin Umar and the likes, that then regarding concerning next madrasa, the madrasa of Ahl al-Kufa. So regarding concerning that of the students of the Sahaba, from the Tabi'een, that of those madaris that start to be established, the madrasa of al-Kufa. So al-Kufa, that on the the two legions, it was said of the Sahaba concerning Ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, and also Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. So of those students that became of the more prominent of the students of that madrasa of al-Kufa, that I mentioned, Alqama ibn Qais al-Nakhai, Alqama ibn Qais al-Nakhai, who died the year 62 al-Hijri. So the 62 or 62nd year of the al-Hijri. Second, Aswad ibn Yazid al-Nakhai. Aswad, al-Aswad ibn Yazid al-Nakhai. Also, Abu Maysara, Amr ibn Sharahil Hamdani. Abu Maysara, Amr ibn Sharahil al-Hamdani. So those are those ones of that madrasa, and those are the ones that find that change, as we'll mention later, regarding the likes of Abu Hanifa that came from that madrasa. So the madrasa regarding those two, regarding madrasa of al-Medina and the madrasa of al-Kufa, they were of the two more distinguished madaris. And the one of al-Kufa became known as madrasa of al-Rahi. So the madrasa of al-Kufa became concerned with madrasa of al-Rahi. So those are the students are from that madaris, from those two madaris. So as mentioned, the ulama started mentioned the madrasa that start to be looked upon as being madrasa al-Hadith and also madrasa al-Rahi. So you find that of the two distinguishing of those places, madrasa the school, the approach of al-Hadith concerning Medina and Mecca, and then we'll find the one concerning that of Kufa that referred to as al-Rahi. That was more so, their base was in al-Kufa. Their base was in Kufa. The distinction regarding concerning that the matters of Medina, that in their approach regarding matters, so a lot of emphasis was placed regarding hadith, wal athar. So a lot of emphasis was placed regarding the use of hadith and given attention to a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and that of the other Sahaba, and also distinguishing from the regarding those which were sahih from those that were not. And also they will always put precedent regarding concerning hadith will also be given precedent. They'll put precedent over the right of any person. So that's of the mass, and also and any type of conflict between al-Rahi wal hadith, they'll always take al-Hadith. And also they go to the aqwal of the Sahaba before they go to al-Rahi. So before they go to anyone to opinions, that they'll go to first the opinion of the Sahaba or the fatwa of the Sahaba. So that's concerning of those things that distinguish that particular madrasa that they refer to madrasa al-Hadith. Then the second madrasa that in Kufa, Markaz being of Kufa, referred to as madrasatu al-Rahi. Madrasatu al-Rahi. So the madrasa of al-Rahi. We said no, mainly established in Kufa. That madrasa, it's somewhat distinguished regarding concerning that taking from Quran, the Sunnah, and the Ijma was a part of it, but also it started to use a lot of concerning al-Qiyas. So a lot of concern that Qiyas, analogy, and Rahi was applied by them. Also inaya bil al-masalih, also regarding looking at things regarding masalih, the benefits, wadabt al-maqasid, and also try to put some guidelines regarding concerning matters, are also matters regarding al-maqasid, what's the objective and the aims of the Sharia. So an ilal regarding the reason behind certain ahkam. So they kind of somewhat, they will put emphasis in those areas. So they become more of things regarding things of more of Rahi, as it is referred to as, with guidelines. So when they mention concerning Rahi, amongst those ulama, it meant concerned not for the person following his opinion based upon desires. So not just accepting and rejecting things based upon one's their desires. That was not the case for during that time of the Tabi'een, but more so that they are certain that al-Rahi, that they will use concerning that Qiyas more compared to the other madrasa, that also masalih wa dabt al-maqasid, and توسع في استنباط العلل والمعاني. So they can somewhat go, and also of those things that they will also add also regarding that they will discuss concerning الفقه الافتراضي. So فقه الافتراضية والتقديري, things based upon like assumptions. So concerning that and looking at things based upon assumptions or the possibilities, and they can somewhat look into those things and give answers to them. So they try to find what would be the case if such and such, then try to find answers for those things. So those are the things that they became somewhat known for, but they refer to general concerning Madrasa Ali al-Rahi. So that's concerning of those, so those two madaris started to take shape regarding that approach during that time. So those two madaris started to take that type of shape during that era of the and those concerning kibar tabi'in. That's the era concerning kibar tabi'in. So that's so during those so their main sources regarding adillah would be al-Quran was sunnah. Also regarding concerning that during that time of the tabi'in, some degree of kind of somewhat no time to distinguish regarding from the sunnah a hadith that maybe the hadith being sahih or not sahih. As mentioned, because of people start now to fabricate some hadith, so they will look into hadith regarding some due to certain factors. So those are the things concerned that occurred regarding that period. Then I was mentioning because of those madaris start to be established, then we'll be discussing next regarding concerning what is now known as concerning that establishment of the madaris. So establishment of the madaris. So during that time, that I find that so that's concerning those also a third madaris. As we start to then start to be established, we consider Madrasa al-Zahir, al-Zahir. So the Madrasa al-Zahir, so the one that were first established were Madrasa al-Hadith, Madrasa al-Rahi. Then a third appeared, which is concerning Madrasa al-Zahir. So al-Zahir, by way of that Madrasa also came into the as a form of the Raddul Fail, as a form of response to the people started to go, that they saw as going of using too much concerning al-Rahi. Each they had concerning qiyas. So Madrasa al-Zahiriyah somewhat was like the opposite to them, or a bit opposite to them. So that of the madaris that also became established in those early days regarding concerning al-Zahir, as we'll cover in the next discussion. So that's concerning those matters regarding the early period concerning the time of the tabi'in. I said the kibaru tabi'in during that period. Then as the fiqh went on again to the next stage regarding the tabi'in, regarding concerning that or after the major tabi'in regarding concerning the period concerning al-fiqh fil asl a'immatul mujtahidin. So we'll be moving into the fiqh as it developed, the evolution of fiqh that went to the next stage, which concerned the fiqh during the period of a'immatul mujtahidin. So that's concerning a'immatul mujtahidin. And then also how the madhahib were formulated and how they were established. So during that period, you find that regarding concerning madhahib, which is referred to as regarding concerning how the establishment of the madhahib al-fiqhiyya from the A'immat al-Mujtahideen, of those things that to be looked at regarding concerning what is said to be a madhab. Also regarding concerning that what are some of the more influential individuals regarding these madhahib, what were their qawaid and their concerning their method regarding their masadir, their sources of reference regarding matters concerning fiqh, and their usul that they followed, and the principle the guiding principle they use. Also regarding some of the influential men regarding those madhahib, regarding those who establish it, and also those who help it to regarding concerning those who also follow those madhahib, and those who follow those ai and also help regarding its spreading, and also those who wrote and collected concerning the aqwal of those ai. So those who also collected and start to collect and to write down regarding the aqwal of the ai of those madhahib. So of those things to be discussed regarding concerning that, the next level regarding concerning Tariq al-Fiqh, regarding concerning now the establishment of the madhahib al-fiqhiyya, regarding those that were established then in the time of the tabi'in, those that survived, that still remain, that was established then, and still remain up until today, and those that were established then in the time of the Tabi'een, but also they did not per se continue fully intact as the others, that did not continue or survive fully intact as others. But you still find some remnants of those madhahib, but not as intact as the 4 or 5 that are more established today. I would say the madhahib regarding madhahib al-fiqhiyya al-sunniyya. So madhahib al-fiqhiyya al-sunniyya. So you find that, deviation, the time of the certain time in the year of the Tabi'een, that later on you find certain madhahib aqadiyya that are misguided, deviated, also start to be established. And also some of them also develop their own sense of fiqh. Some of them develop their own fiqh approach, but those ones would not be a part of our discussion, would not be a part much of our discussion. But if they are mentioned, just something to be mindful of, but won't be a part of the full discussion. So the discussion is more regarding madhahib al-fiqhiyya al-sunniyya that still that existed then, and some still exist until today. And so that's concerning those matters regarding that era, which is concerning the beginning stage regarding the stage of the first stage regarding the stage of the Tabi'een, more so regarding the Kibar Tabi'een, regarding concerning those madaris that are established in Medina, and also mainly, and around the surrounding areas, and also those that were outside regarding places of Iraq, regarding concerning Al-Kufa and the likes, that became of the other type of madrasa and the surrounding areas, and also their approach. So thing that they shared common regarding the Quran, the Sunnah, was always the primary source regarding tashri'. Also al-ijma', they valued regarding the aqwal of the Sahaba, and also their own ijtihad, that they would put in place regarding matters that they was not found in those previously mentioned sources. So those are the next thing to be covered regarding the development of fiqh. So with this, inshallah, that will end this session, and then we'll discuss in the next session regarding the development of the madhahib, regarding those that are known and those that are not that well known. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهذه إلى السبيل والآخر دعوانا الحمد لله.